Good morning, everybody. Monday, 19th April. Now it's 7 past 8. Well, long time no seen. Hopefully, everybody doing fine. Just stick around here during some kind of festival. Well, today I'm going to talk about my study life in the States. Now, I look at news every day, of course, especially COVID-19, to see what's going on and is that going to getting better or not. But for myself, I not really hang around with many people. Just working in my office, working, in the flat next to a new plaza that's coming up soon. And there are so many things about our news, so I just worried to students because now it's not allowed to be on the campus, and I'm wondering what they are doing. Maybe they watch news, and now our news is not really something not creative. As you know, something dramas, something about not right. As I mentioned earlier, if 1 plus 1 is not equal to 2, we have problems. So today, what I'm going to do is that at least I encourage students about English. So you have plenty of time now because you have no class and you have only online, class. So it's a good opportunities for me to explain about my study life in the States. Again, it's better than talking about something else. And actually, the schedule for the final exam is on start from the 10th of May. That means next month, very quick, and we'll end up about 23rd of May, of course, next month. But I got information from the campus that we have no in-class final exam. That's going to be online final exam. So many professors will assign you homework, projects, reports. So be prepared for that. I know especially for senior students are excited to graduate. And after you've been here for 4 years, so finally you will graduate, and it will come. So I don't know what going to be about the COVID-19 situation, but the number of people infected is more and more every day. So take care of yourself. Okay, let's get back to about the study life. I have many stories, to tell you. Well, I look at, Calsat News. It's our CEO, Sivar, his name. He got the property about 78,000 millions baht. He set up a company in Silicon Valley in Southern California, actually in San Francisco. And what interesting about Sivar is that after he been in the States for 30 years, and he success in his business. Of course, Silicon Valley is something about electronics, about engineering. That's one of the biggest industrial park, let's say, in the world. And finally, he decided to move back to India. He born in India. He graduated a bachelor degree in IIT. What's that? Technology Institute of Technology. Let's say he graduated, got a bachelor degree in, I'm not sure IT or not, information technology. And then after that he moved to the States, and he studied master degree and PhD, probably electrical engineering at Princeton University. Of course, Princeton University is very famous university. And he started his business at Silicon Valley. So that's his background. And now he moved to a suburb, the southern of India, his born place. And he lived in the suburb with no water supply, no electricity, but he still working on his business, by using internet. So he have like generator to generate electricity, so he can communicate throughout the world, Brazil, Singapore, of course, States. He set up his life back to easy life, walk around rice fields, talk to people in village, and he started, to set up a hospital. I don't remember how many hospital, but you can go back to read, CEO from Silicon Valley, back to India and live over there. So it's some kind like you are seeing a lot of technologies, and sometimes you get bored when you get old. So you want to have an easy life, look at surrounded by no pollutions, not so many people, you have quiet place. In the morning you have like tea, you talk to a couple of people. So that's the other side of our life that make you happy. Okay, that's just about our Siva life. So people have different choices of life, depend on what you want to do. So Siva actually he graduated, he got PhD from Princeton in electrical engineering, and then he Of course, when you graduate PhD, you have two options in general. Okay, one to be professor, right? Because you have a lot of knowledge, and the other one is that you want to make a lot of money, so you go to work in companies. So that's the main choices when you get a PhD. And but he decided to start his own business. As I mentioned earlier, to be professor is not going to make you rich, but this is your choice, just like my choice. I still enjoy working as professor. Okay, back to Silicon Valley. Back almost 30 years, when I got scholarship, I went to study at the Rochester Institute of Technology, Rochester, New York. As I mentioned earlier, that's the program is the microelectronic manufacturing. So you make chip, you make IC, you make a integrated circuit. And the second year I have to go to present paper. So we have a group with Professor Bruce Smith. That's now is the full professor. He's very genius. He work around the clock. Even Saturday, Sunday, he used to come to the campus. He worked until like 10 p.m. He worked on microlithography. And now he's working on nanotechnology at Rochester Institute of Technology. He is smart, he handsome, like American, but he very nice. And also I have a group of John, and somebody else who study master's degree in engineering. So the second year is the time for us, for our group, to go to present paper at the Silicon Valley. So that's why I mentioned back to Silva, it's come up to something that I can still remember what I did. So I want to transfer whatever stories to students. That group flew to California. Of course, it's across the country, just like Ubon Ratchathani or to Kanchanaburi, from the east to the west. They flew over first. At that time, we have no smartphone, we have no cellular phone, but we discuss about that, where that professor, that students will stay in California, San Francisco, Silicon Valley. They flew one day before I did. I flew alone by myself from Rochester to San Francisco. Actually to LX, Los Angeles, doesn't matter. California is California. And I pick up rental car, Hertz, Hertz. So the name just like the unit of the frequency, right? Hertz. I don't know how that's come up with the rental car company Hertz. And I pick up a car. At that time is about 8 p.m. To save money, the first night I drove the car and stay in what I call like Um, I forgot the name again. Hostel is in a forest. So I arrived there about 10 p.m. So I paid about $10, $10. The guy who were taking care, it's just like a camp. Give me a sleeping bag. So I parked my car. I slept, and I woke up in the morning. I drove to the city. So I still don't remember it. Maybe it's about an hour and a half to Silicon Valley. Met professor and my team that's going to present paper. Today, the first day is going to be registration. Register. So I went to register. Actually, I haven't met because I came late, about 10 a.m. And then I went to the conference center in Silicon Valley. I parked my car and then I registered. And I met many graduate students, around the world. I met Taiwanese, the guy. So I asked him, I have a car, I have nowhere to go, so if you want to get a ride with me, let's take a tour, because you got rented car, so why don't waste. So we drove around and then to along the beach, and the Taiwanese complained a little bit. This is the beach, just look like my home, my country. I said, why the heck you have to talk about it? That's the first thing that I still remember. So we went to a restaurant on the beach, and then we have a couple of beers. Of course, a small bottle. I still be able to drive. At that time, I have a New York State driver license, so it's still okay. And then after that, I treat him, for lunch, and for dinner he treated me back, so that's very nice. And then after that, I went to see my team and my professor at the hotel in Silicon Valley. So we went out again to a bar with professor and my team, about 5 of my classmates. And then we played pool, we drank with professor, full professor. And one thing is just like pool, just like snooker. You know that, pool, P-U-L-L. And then we went, one very impressive, about American people over there, because you have to, put in the car, right, to play pool, or paying. I said, I have to go to restroom or something. You can play, for me. He said, no, this is not my money. I'm not going to play. I'm waiting for you to be back. See that? And the funny thing is that we had party until almost midnight. I went back to the hotel. I stay in the same room with my team, my friends, my classmates. But what happened in the morning? We discussed, we drank again in the room. And then, hey, I have a car, why waste, the money? Because I already paid for the rent for 3 days, right? So let's go to the city, San Francisco city. And in the morning, we left with about 4 of my friends, went to the city. And after that, we were back. We got complaint from Professor Bruce Smith, that he said, like, business is business. Last night we went out to have party already, but today you still go out instead of you have to join the conference. So we got complaint, but we have to listen. And the other thing is that Professor Boothmith told me, like, Cook, you retake exam because I did not get a good grade. I got C, master degree, not supposed to get C. Later on, he told me, like, Cook, you did much better. You got A. I want to talk to you. I want to tell you, since at the party night that we went to the pub, but I'll wait until we finish conference. So he talked to me. So I'm very happy. I said, thank you, Professor Bruce. He said, thank to yourself that you're working hard. So that's one of my impressive. That's one I still remember. Okay, back to the gang. With John, with Cook, with I forgot many of my friends' names. We went to Syria, so we went to rental the scooter. Scooter is like small motorbike, you know that. So we decided instead of taking the rental car, I don't remember, it's the compact size car. Driving around the city is not fun, so let's rent a scooter to ride around the city. So we went to the rental place, and I parked my car over there, and we each, have a scooter. Of course, you have to wear a helmet and the small motorbike or scooter. So it's fun. And I said, hey, let's go to Chinatown, because for American, they seen everything, like restaurant, KFC, McDonald's. So why not go to Chinatown? So I took them to Chinatown. One thing I just learned, that's my second year in the States. That's the traffic light. As the same as we get used to in Thailand. The motorbike, I just, like stop motorbike between car, and John yelled at me, Cool, you're not supposed to do that. You have to be on the line. On the line is mean like, head to tail like this, not, between two cars. We get used to that, right? I said, oh, sorry, I don't know about it. So let's say in between two cars, it means like I talk in a parallel, right? If you're talking about electrical circuit. But if you're tail to head to tail, like this one, on the line, I call it in series. So that's what I learned. And we went to Chinatown, and then in San Francisco, I took them to have like grilled ducks. They don't like it because they're too much fat. Ducks filled with fat. And the funny thing is that we park scooter anywhere we can park, because it's not considered as the motorbike that you have to register. So you're free to go around. So it's kind of fun, like for 3 days. And after that, I'm very impressed. So that's why after I finished my master degree, sorry, at the RT, so I decided to drive across the country back to San Francisco by myself again. So anybody can do it. My student can do it. And that's one of my present paper at the Silicon Valley. So back to Siva, that he decided to spend his life in the suburb in the southern of India. So when you grow up, this is for students. When you grow up, you have background. You can, have many choices for what you want to do. You have potential to do this, to do that. Even Siva, mentioned about now he still cannot remember about Maxwell equation. Maxwell equation have a relation between electric field and magnetic field, right? And he said, I'm not really used that, but you have to study anyway. And also he mentioned about he studied advanced math for engineering, but now he just used like basic math. But you don't want to mention about it too much. Just like student, he said like, oh, okay, you study here for 4 years. Some of them do not really use, but actually in the real life, you don't know. You use it. You have background. Somehow you need to build up your background for you to be able to overcome some problems in the future. It doesn't matter it's related what class you study or not, but you sharpen your brain so you can think quick. You can overcome problem quick. You can tackle problems quick. So that's the you be decided to study. And so this is what I want to talk to students and talk to people. This is life, so make sure that I'm still alive, because not really people around here on the campus. Only housemate this morning and security. And today I'll be back to work again, so be prepared to assign your student assignment, because as I mentioned earlier, that we have no in-class final exam, so it's coming up quick. So I'm still this morning I went outside of the campus. Some people are getting back to work. More cars this morning compared to last week. Few cars. Okay, so that's all I want to say today. And if I have anything else coming up, I will put on the video again. Okay, everybody, take care of yourself. Have a good Monday and have a good week. Okay, bye.